1. Sunseeker Resort Sale, boosting Charlotte County businesses. 2. Sunseeker Resort sold to Blackstone for $200 million. What's next for Charlotte Harbor? 3. Blackstone acquires troubled Sunseeker Resort for $200 million. 1. Sunseeker Resort Sale, boosting Charlotte County businesses. The sale of Sunseeker Resort sparks fresh hope for Charlotte County's local businesses, but here's where the story gets intriguing. After just 18 months since its grand opening, the resort is already making waves in the community, and opinions are mixed. While some residents argue the resort feels oversized and pricey, many local business owners are celebrating the surge in tourism and customer traffic it has brought to the area. Wink News reached out to 6 local shops to gauge the impact since Sunseeker Resort Charlotte Harbor began welcoming guests. Interestingly, 2 shops reported that their sales remain steady, unaffected by the resort's presence. However, for other businesses revealed a noticeable boost, with one florist proudly sharing that their revenue has actually doubled during this period. Kerry Chulette, owner of Gladrich Florist Shop, illustrated the benefits clearly. Since Sunseeker opened, I'd estimate our revenue has roughly doubled. The resort's presence has elevated our visibility on the main street, bringing in more foot traffic than before. Moreover, Sunseeker actively refers guests to us for flower deliveries, whether for room decor, wedding petals, or various special events. This kind of partnership truly makes a difference. Looking ahead, the future of Sunseeker Resort is poised for change. Blackstone Real Estate has announced plans to acquire the property for a hefty $200 million. This development leaves many curious and eager to learn what new strategies and investments Blackstone might bring to Charlotte County. Wink News is closely monitoring the situation and awaits further details about how this new ownership could influence the local economy and community at large. But this raises an important question: will Blackstone's vision align with the needs and hopes of Charlotte County's residents and businesses, or will it fuel further debate over the resort's size and cost? What do you think? Does a large, upscale resort help or hinder a smaller community? Share your thoughts. This is a conversation worth having. 2. Sunseeker Resort sold to Blackstone for $200 million. What's next for Charlotte Harbor? A $200 million shakeup. Blackstone takes over Sunseeker Resort, but is its future really brighter? Here's a story with all the makings of a local legend: ambitious dreams, unforeseen challenges, and a dramatic change of hands. The Sunseeker Resort in Charlotte Harbor, one of Florida's most talked about luxury destinations, was just snapped up by Blackstone Real Estate in a deal valued at a staggering $200 million. Barely 2 years after its much-anticipated grand opening, this waterfront palace is already changing ownership, and the reasons may surprise you. But here's where it gets controversial. Was Sunseeker simply too grand for its surroundings, or did it miss something essential that every resort on Florida's Gulf Coast needs? Let's rewind a bit. After overcoming pandemic setbacks and even a construction fire, Sunseeker finally opened its doors in December 2023. Spanning 22 impressive acres, it features a jaw-dropping 785 rooms, multiple dining options, 3 pools, a high-end golf course, and more. The vision: to become a beacon for tourism and economic revival in Charlotte Harbor. For locals like Marcel Delacruz, the resort's debut brought hope. I was inspired thinking it would breathe new life into the area, families, businesses, the whole community, Delacruz shared. However, not everyone felt the excitement would last. And this is the part most people miss. Some nearby residents immediately questioned whether the resort's scale and offerings matched the area's needs. When Sunseeker was announced, everyone I spoke to wondered how it could succeed. So many rooms, but no beach and not much else nearby, explained Bob Glass. His neighbor, Bob Mezzera, echoed the sentiment: all it really needed was a beach, you know. That skepticism soon showed up in the numbers. Allegiant, Sunseeker's original owner, disclosed in an early 2024 earnings call that the resort was hit by a $321 million impairment charge, basically a sharp decline in value, and racked up $5.7 million in hurricane damages. Perhaps most telling, the resort struggled to fill rooms, reporting just 54% occupancy in the fourth quarter of 2024. So what next? Allegiant chose to move on, selling Sunseeker to Blackstone, a heavyweight in real estate with a strong portfolio of high-profile hospitality investments. Scott Trebilco, senior managing director at Blackstone, called Sunseeker a brand new, highly amenitized resort, and said his company would draw on its deep experience managing major properties. Blackstone's entry brings optimism, but also, no small amount of debate, about what comes next for this ambitious resort. The community, meanwhile, is watching closely, hopeful but wary. "I hope Blackstone makes it work," said Mezzera. Glass agreed, "I wish them the best because success would really put this area on the map." Dela Cruz added, "I truly want to see this place flourish." The deal is set to finalize in the third quarter of 2025, subject to standard closing steps. Let's not ignore the bigger question: did Sunseeker's struggles stem from external factors, like hurricanes and the pandemic, or did the original vision miss what travelers and locals truly want from a Florida resort? Would a beach have made all the difference, or is the issue more complex? This sale could become a turning point for Charlotte Harbor or a cautionary tale about overambition. What's your take? Does Blackstone have what it takes to turn Sunseeker into a regional gem, or is this just another chapter in a much bigger story about Florida's evolving hospitality industry? We invite you to share your views. Did you ever visit Sunseeker? Would you stay at a luxury resort without direct beach access? Is Blackstone's expertise enough to overcome the challenges? Drop your thoughts, disagreements, or big ideas in the comments. Let's spark a conversation. Please note, this report is based on verified news sources and community interviews, converted from broadcast footage. All details have been carefully checked for fairness and accuracy. 3. Blackstone acquires troubled Sunseeker resort for $200 million. Imagine investing millions into a dream resort, only to face years of delays and setbacks. That was Allegiant Travel Company's experience with Sunseeker Resort Charlotte Harbor. But here's where it gets controversial. Allegiant is now selling this underperforming gem to global real estate giant Blackstone for $200 million. While most people might miss the deeper implications, let's dive into what this means for both companies and the future of hospitality. Las Vegas-based Allegiant Travel Company, known primarily for its airline operations, has decided to offload its struggling Sunseeker resort to Blackstone for a cool $200 million. The transaction, announced on July 7, is set to be completed in Q3 2025, pending standard conditions. Sunseeker Resort Charlotte Harbor, a 785-room resort situated on 22 waterfront acres in Charlotte County, was a project plagued by delays and cost overruns. It finally opened its doors in December 2023, after more than $700 million had been poured into its development. The opening, however, was not the success that Allegiant had hoped for. The resort struggled to meet financial expectations, with occupancy rates barely scraping past 60% in early 2025. Allegiant's decision to sell the resort marks the end of its short-lived venture into the hospitality sector. The company is now refocusing on its core airline operations, aiming to strengthen its balance sheet. But this is just the beginning of the story. Blackstone, the world's largest commercial real estate owner, is no stranger to large-scale resort acquisitions. With $320 billion in investor capital under management, Blackstone's real estate business spans logistics, data centers, residential, office, and hospitality sectors across major global markets. Scott Trebilco, senior managing director at Blackstone Real Estate, expressed enthusiasm about the acquisition, stating, "The acquisition of this brand-new, highly amenitized resort demonstrates our strong conviction in hospitality and travel. We look forward to bringing our extensive experience with large-scale resorts to Sunseeker. This acquisition is more than just a business deal. It's a bold statement about the future of hospitality and travel, especially in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. But what does it mean for Allegiant's future?" Gregory C. Anderson, CEO of Allegiant Travel Company, explained, "Blackstone's extensive hospitality holdings and their execution capabilities make them the ideal counterparty for this transaction. Furthermore, it supports Allegiant's strategy centered around the airline, and we plan to use the proceeds from the sale to repay debt." The journey of Sunseeker Resort Charlotte Harbor has been anything but smooth. From delays and setbacks to natural disasters and construction fires, the resort's road to opening was fraught with challenges. Despite its luxurious amenities, including 20 bars and restaurants, a rooftop retreat, a championship golf course, and 60,000 square feet of meeting space, the resort struggled to attract guests. Charlotte County officials had high hopes for the resort, seeing it as a key to recovery following Hurricane Ian. The resort helped replace 250 lost hotel rooms and boosted tourist development tax collection. However, despite rising occupancy rates, Allegiant recorded a $321.8 million impairment charge in late 2024 and began exploring strategic options. And this is the part most people miss. Allegiant's decision to sell Sunseeker isn't just about cutting losses. It's a strategic move to refocus on their core business and strengthen their financial position. But what does this mean for the future of hospitality and travel? Is Blackstone's acquisition a sign of confidence in the industry, or a calculated risk? What do you think? Is Blackstone making a smart move, or is this a risky gamble? Share your thoughts in the comments below.